Minasan konnichiwa and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today I'd like to talk a little bit more about the topic that I talked about in my main channel a few days back about why Japanese people are so cold-hearted. So in that video, if you've already watched it, thank you so much. If you haven't, I quickly introduced the World Giving Index, which is basically a study about how much the people in that country are willing to give to others, willing to share, willing to help others by taking a survey of how much people gave money to charity or help people, random people on the streets, and so on and so forth. And Japan, unfortunately, ranked actually the lowest in the world by a very wide margin. Japan ranked 144, was it, I think? Yeah, but 143, which was one rank higher than Japan, was about 20%, while Japan was, I think it was 12% or something like that. Yeah, so it was very, very low. So Japan is by far in the world the most cold-hearted people, disinterested, I guess you could say, in the people in the world. So making this video and talking about this, I really realized that, we often say that Japanese people are also one of the most unhappiest people in the world. There's studies checking to see how happy the people are in each country too. And Japanese people are very, very unhappy, actually. By that ranking, Japan is much easier to find if you count down up than not from up down. And, a lot of people talk about, it must be the overwork that Japanese people tend to do, overtime work. It might be the sexlessness, maybe. Or it might be that Japan's economy has not been thriving that much. It's been declining for more than 30 years. But I personally, making this video about the cold-hearted Japanese, I personally felt one of the biggest factors of why Japanese people are unhappy is because they don't have a society. Basically, I talked about, again, the collectivist society in Japan, but basically they don't have a society where you're welcomed to share and help others. Now, from my point of view, from my study about psychology and brain science and such, humans feel happiness. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this before too, but humans feel happiness when you help others, right? We feel when we share with others, when we help others, we feel needed and being thanked. By being thanked, we feel that we are worthy enough, to exist in this world. We have a meaning in life, right? And that's when we feel happiness. So basically, humans are built, maybe not with everyone around the world, but at least within their own community, we are built to work together and help each other. And that's obviously the way that humans have survived, through history, right? So our brains are made so that we feel happy when we help each other. But again, Japanese people are the people in this planet that doesn't help others at all, because, as I explained in the main video, because there really is no benefit in helping others. There's actually a more negative aspect to it. Again, standing out, people will think that you're trying to appeal that you're a good person, or a publicity stunt, I said in the video. Yeah. So I think by studying about this, by making this video, I've realized that, Japanese people are probably unhappy because they don't know, especially the people in my generations, or maybe a little bit older, back and forth around there, we don't know the happiness. Many people don't know, have never felt the happiness of helping others. Now, I was lucky enough to grow up in the US. I was lucky enough to, what should I say? I'm the kind of person who really doesn't care about what other people think. So I have been doing volunteer work, and I have been donating charity. I don't care what other people say. I will always will always be doing what I think is right. So, but I always say, I am against all forms of violence. So if it's going to change into violence, I'm against it. And that's my second daughter crying. I don't know why she's crying downstairs, but anyways, so So what I'm trying to say is that I was able to understand the happiness and joy of helping others, cooperating with other people and such, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Japanese people have never done anything like that before. Again, 12% only 12% of people said that they've helped people, random people on the streets and so on and so forth. So you can basically say at least 80% of Japanese people have never even considered helping others before, right? So I think that is definitely a major factor of why Japanese people are very unhappy. Now, talking about this though, I think it brings up the question, why though, right? Like, through my videos, whenever I talk about collectivism, the collectivist society in Japan, I think a lot of people will be like, why the heck did you guys choose such an unhappy, society? But again, of course, every culture has developed to match and help the people out in that environment, that country, that nation, right? So the thing is, collectivism, from my understanding, the way you interact and connect with people is by the system. Individualism, you connect and interact with people, create communities through trust that you build with your own skills. And let me try to break this down for you. So basically in collectivism, as I explained in my main video, that's people living on a ship. This is a metaphor. People living on a ship on an ocean. You have this system, you have this cage called the ship on a boat where everyone cannot leave. Everyone's living on, they cannot leave. So basically, everyone's living together on the ship. So there is this system called the ship, and there are rules on that ship, right? So even if you don't know the other person, you can immediately, automatically trust the other person by believing that we are on the ship, so you'll follow the rules, right? It's like, I don't know, maybe it could be expressed as we're playing the same sport, so you know the rules. Even though I don't know you, this is the first time meeting you, we can play the same sport, right? That's really close to, I think it's really close to collectivist society. You don't need communication skills, if that makes sense. This is the reason why Japanese people are very bad at communication, because we didn't need it. We already had a ship, we already had a collectivist society, a system that automatically basically decided how people would move and live and act, right? The opposite in individualism, you need to build up your own community. You need to get involved with other people, from your own will to be able to be accepted by a group, So this is completely different. So now, in the past, again, this ship was completely isolated. Well, not completely, historically speaking, there were times when Japan traded with other countries, but basically it was very isolated, right? And everyone was not, during the Edo period, everyone was not allowed to move out from their country. They're basically a prefecture. It was like small countries at that time. So you didn't need to have communication skills to feel that you belong to a society, you belong to a group. You would be happy to help others in such a situation, because you know that person is an ally, right? Because that person is from your own prefecture. So you didn't need to communicate with that person. You didn't need to think, oh, should I help this person or not? If you're in the same team, you should obviously help that person, right? But unfortunately, I think I talked more about this in the video where I talked about Bushido Rule in Japan. This system has completely collapsed. So again, collectivism is a system that works on a ship, right? But Japan, once it westernized, this Japan ship has landed on land, basically, and now we have integrated the systems of individualism. But basically, we have met land, we are on land, but Japanese people are still living on a ship kind of thing. So it's not working, It's very strange, like how the elderly, for example, was saying, no, you need to follow the rules. No, that's not how it should be done. And we're basically living on a ship that's not floating on the ocean, but that's placed on a patch of land, basically. So the young people are like, why do we have to obey you guys? We can leave Japan anytime we want to. There are people coming onto the ship who originally do not know the rules. Why do we have to follow you guys? Kind of thing. So there's this big gap between generations, right? And now coming back to the original topic, so this is what's making Japanese people's communication difficult. So again, Japanese people originally do not have high skills in communication, right? So that's one thing. The second thing, now because our original communities, our local cities, the prefectures, these things are collapsing because people can randomly come in and go out, right? So people don't have a community or prefecture, a home they can completely trust without communication anymore. So it's very close to an individualistic society where you need to move yourself and go and talk with people, communicate with people, judge who you can trust or not. And you need to get moving. But because Japanese society for thousands of years have not experienced that before, we don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to judge who to trust, because that's not how things worked in Japan for a very, very long time. But that's how it needs to work in Japan today, because that's what we did when we westernized, when we modernized. That's how we changed society, right? But the traits, the habits among Japanese people have not yet been changed. So this is the reason why Japanese people in the past, today, I introduced the survey, the studies saying that Japanese people cold-hearted, they don't help each other. No, in the past, when they knew they were in a community, they were all in this together kind of thing, they were happy to help each other out. They, all the relationships between neighbors and communities and, towns and cities, they had a very, very strong bond together, right? That's the reason why they were able to fight as the Sacho clan or the, whatever clan and the Sanada clan, or I don't know, that's the reason why they had such a strong bond, right? But today, no one has these kind of communities anymore. Even each individual family, doesn't have such a strong bond anymore, right? Every family lives apart from each other. Grandparents live on their own, parents live on their own, children are living on their own, and we're not that connected anymore. But we still don't have communication skills. So who can we trust? We can't trust anyone anymore. Then who are we going to be helping? If we can't trust anyone, we won't be helping anyone, and we won't be getting points from helping anyone. We won't be it's not beneficial to help anyone. Then no one's going to be helping anyone, right? Yeah. So this is the big problem in Japan. So to make a long story short, this is my conclusion. I'm not, as I always say in my videos, I'm not saying collectivism is bad. The state that Japan is in right now, the situation Japan is in right now, is bad. There's a big glitch here. There's a big problem in Japan going on of Japanese people not being able to adapt and change, which is very difficult. I understand it's impossible to just change 1,000 years of which is traditions and habits in just a few hundred years, right? But basically we're still keep ourselves in the shell of collectivism while we live in an individualistic society. So this dismatched here, there's an unmatched system here. This is the problem. Yeah. So if Japanese people really want to live in a collectivist society, they need to be completely isolated again, like in the Edo period or something. They need to close themselves up again. But again, that's impossible, right? That's not going to be beneficial in this world anymore. It's much more important that we are connected to the world, that we share our knowledge, our culture, our history with each other around the world. And it's impossible to go back that way, right? That means we need to gradually understand that the things that we take for granted, consider as common sense in Japan, needs to really change. Yeah, that we need to we need to all acknowledge that it's outdated, that it doesn't suit our modern society today because we integrated individualism, right? We have our new constitution, we have our new laws and everything, but we still somehow idealize, see collectivist views like Bushido as a virtue. So we really all need, I personally feel that all Japanese people need to recognize this. Yes. And we need to change our education. We need to change our daily communication, how we actually talk with each other and such, and gradually try to change the parts that we can more to individualism. Again, I'm not saying individualism is better and collectivism is not good. It's how it is in Japan right now. That's what we did when we westernized. This is what we wanted, right? If we wanted this, we need to change to fit into this new system. Japanese people, they brought in this new system, this new game, right? But they're saying, well, we don't want to change our uniform. We don't want to change this, we don't want to change our baseball into a soccer ball, we're still going to be wearing our original costume, and we're going to be, kicking our same baseball in the soccer field kind of thing. That's not going to work, right? How are you going to be able to do that kind of thing? So this is my conclusion of this, why Japanese people are choosing such a unhappy, cold-hearted society and system. Yeah, I hope what I just talked about makes sense. It's really, really hard for me to explain, but this is something that I was not able to explain in my main video, so I really, really hope you enjoyed listening to it. Again, please let me know about your opinions in the comments. Thank you very much. So then this will be the end of today's podcast, but as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know that there are a lot of people outside of Japan willing to study Japanese or come to Japan and travel Japan or train our traditional culture and stuff, right? Yeah. But as I talked about today, Japan is facing a lot of social problems because of the big problem in the society right now, as I mentioned earlier, and we are losing our traditional culture. The younger generations are committing suicide and dying because of it, and I'm very afraid that people who have their hopes and dreams in Japan will not be able to make their dreams come true. So I really want to dedicate my life to try to make Japan a better place. I want to try to solve the social problems. I want to preserve evolved traditional culture and also help out the younger generations so they can have a better life. Japanese people, the younger generations in Japan, so they can carry on the good things about Japan. Yep. And as you know, my first step towards this humongous dream is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023. So all your likes and comments in my main channel will help to boost my videos to new viewers who have never seen my channel before. So it'd be great if you could help me out. And I already have in my mind my second, third, fourth step in mind actually, and it's gonna be something that's completely unrelated to YouTube. Of course, I will connect them somehow, the businesses together, but it's something that is completely different. Yeah, my second and third step I have in mind. So these things, I think I will be talking more about it once I achieve 1 million subscribers. I think I'll be making a separate video about the topics. So anyways, I hope you can look forward to it, and thank you so much. I'll be waiting for your comments. Thank you so much, guys. ありがとうございました。